Hello and welcome to the Banker's View from SWIFT Latin American Regional Conference. I'm Silvia Pavoni, Economics Editor of The Banker, and I'm talking to Ignacio Blanco, who is the head of Latin America and the Caribbean for SWIFT. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So the conference has come to an end. We've heard from a lot of people and heard a lot of subjects, matters, and I guess a lot of the conversations really were around payments, cyber, and innovation. Which areas do you think struck you as the most interesting in terms of both challenges and opportunities for Latin America?
Yeah, yes, I think all those topics have challenges and opportunities. I think I see a lot of opportunity for the region to really reinvent themselves for our customers. I think there are understanding that there's different dynamics, the different technologies that they can use. There's different players now that are getting into the segment, into the industry. So I think that the idea of how do we evolve from a business model perspective, in payments it used to be about cost, right? So how do we move from cost to value? Right. So how do we start generating more value to our customers? And then with that is how do we use new technologies to add that value? And we're working very closely with some of our customers in the region to understand what's their ambition, what are some of their needs, and really understanding what the customer needs, and then how can we help them as a platform to deliver that.
And what about cyber? Clearly, we always look at threats in Latin America. The nature of threats has changed a little bit recently in Latin America. So we're having more perhaps organized and bigger attacks.
Yeah, I mean, cyber is the one that I think it just needs to be business as usual right now. So it has to be embedded into the organization, not just from one specific group, but it has to be across different groups. We're working very closely with our customers to not only help them secure their infrastructure, but then you have to be ready to detect, right? Because let's be honest, nobody's exempt of being compromised. So how do you detect any compromise, any activity, any fraudulent activity, and how do you react? So we have a customer security program that we launched a few years ago. That we've been working very hard to get the Latin and American Caribbean community to adopt, which we have a very good track of getting banks to get to that baseline of security, and then we're looking at solutions to how do we help them detect. So payment controls is one of the solutions that we developed, which is really helpful because it's something that it gives banks the opportunity to not having anything within their infrastructure, right? It's just on the SWIFT network, but having a filter for every transaction that they send, and if the transaction comes, out of the pattern that they define, we can hold that transaction and send them an alert. So that's some of the things that we're working. Really, a lot of engagement with communities, a lot of work closely with central banks as well. And central banks are really pushing for more security within their markets, right?
Sure. Another issue that, of course, has been raised is the one of regulation. So how regulation impacts not only, of course, the compliance aspect and creating the lines of defenses and what banks need to do to prepare themselves to deal with these attacks, but also the environments that might help create innovation. And this changes quite a lot across the region. So how do you think this aspect regulation is going to play out in Latin America?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question because you have to understand that as banks continue to try to innovate, you will have to have the head of the security piece, right, and also the compliance piece. So let's make sure that by innovation we're not adding more risk to the system. I see a few markets that are already working in regulation, and trying to make it friendly. That fosters innovation, but at the same time really, covers that security angle. And I think that what we can help there is really to share what we're seeing in other markets, right? And I know that regulators talk to each other, so they pick on things that they do across the world. But we can share some of the success stories, and we can help, inform what are the things that are happening in other markets.
Very well. So thank you for your comments, and congratulations on a great event.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ignacio.
Thank you.